Iron pickers. There's like a flaming crown over the bowl. What's going on there? The survival mechanics, if you can call them that, are not particularly developed in this game. The 3 meters are kind of whatever.
A bus roars up on the road behind you and slows to a crawl at your side. Inside, you can barely see people moving, dancing, swaying. Strings of lights, strange smoke.
Want a ride?
The driver calls. Before you can open your mouth, a huge hairy hand like an animal's paw lands heavy on her shoulder. Not this one, a voice growls, so deep it vibrates your rib cage. The driver shrugs, leaves you in a cloud of perfumed exhaust.
Look at that creepy, weird Junji Ito bus with all the faces staring through and the smoke monster or whatever the hell is happening there. That's an unnerving image. Just all around creepy, frankly. Huh. Kind of wonder what the hell's going on there. I was declined, I was denied, I was unworthy. I don't think I've been to Atlanta yet. Atlanta's suffering, you can tell. Even before this depression got started, crops were failing and farms were closing. Now everyone's looking desperate.
You find yourself in a poker game on the 3rd floor of the Winecoff Hotel. Sometimes these things just happen. The man with the burned face to your left, he never gave his name, growls at the smiling man seated on your right. You ain't got the stomach. I killed men for lessons in that pot. Smiler plays on and takes the hand. The burned man bares his teeth.
Deal.
This hand comes down to the burned man and Smiler. Walk away, boy, says the burned man. Smiler drops his grin. I ain't your boy, Roy. Roy's eye twitches. Smiler outplays Roy again, and a new hand comes around.
I feel like we're right back in the mess that got us into this. Look at your cards.
You've got an okay hand. Not a world beater, but not nothing.
Yeah, press your luck.
For a moment, you think you have it. But Smiler calls and you're outclassed. Roy's preoccupied and has to be nudged into dealing.
Play on.
You finally hit a decent hand.
Make it count.
Roy is still staring at Smiler. What'd you say your name was?
I didn't, but it's Jackson.
Jackson, repeats Roy. I knew a Jackson once. There's a fierce look in Roy's eye.
Let's see him.
You played it just right. You take the hand and the lion's share of the chips on the table. Smiler cusses. Roy cashes out and slips away. You play a few more rounds, but that hand practically sewed up the game. As you leave the hotel, you smell smoke. You cross the street and look up. Flames have engulfed the 3rd floor, where you played the game. The fire spreads hungrily. People are leaning out of windows on the floors above, but you can't see any way to help.
Jesus, did everyone above us die in the fire? Not really where you expect things to go at that point. Nashville, Tennessee, Miami, New Orleans, Washington, D.C. We're here in Georgia. Macon, somewhere around here. And go to Louisiana. I got plenty to do around here still, and I probably should. For now, let's meet the new person up here in Tennessee. I'll probably walk, because I got plenty of new things to do. If I can center on myself on which way I'm even facing. That's east. Well, there's a story over there. Stories is important. Might do more train stations when I need to get around faster later in the playthrough, when I've maybe cut my swaths through the stories better and collected a lot of them. Although at that point I might just run out of money really quickly, because it seems like you have a cap on how much you can carry at once, so it's not like I can save up.
Here's a derelict school building. Shutters nailed shut. Wind-drifted dunes piled against the walls. Broken desks lined up in the basketball court. While you rest on the front porch, the doors open, and someone gives a startled yelp.
You're inside.
He's an older man, tidy and unshaven, carrying a toolbox in one hand and brandishing a broom in the other. "Don't squat here," he growls. "We're not abandoned."
Stand your ground.
He gives you a hard look, but relents and joins you in the shade. "I used to teach here," he says, staring off across the baseball diamond. "Now they just pay me to keep the roof up."
Poor guy. I wonder if I ran away, if it was gonna start feeling like a scary story about like this man that chases you off and so on. Whereas now it's more like this story of this sad guy that used to be a teacher. Now he's just kind of a custodian at best of a relic of his own past. You can kind of walk over mountains a bit. Can I go this way? Hope I don't get stuck. Chattanooga. I have absolutely no idea what... I've never heard the name Chattanooga before. That's a new one for me. Hey, what do we got here?
Two brothers stroll up to you in the street, wearing identical scowls and identical steel-toed boots. One spits in front of you. "Don't stay in town overnight," the other says. "No vagrants after dark."
Sleep rough on the road or hide in town. We're gonna brave it out. What are they gonna do to Skeleton Boy?
You hide under a pile of wooden pallets behind the bus station. Around midnight, you see silhouettes searching through the alleys nearby. But they don't find you.
Time you were told to leave town. These guys are real assholes, aren't they? Chattanooga. Chattanooga is not a good place to stay.
You weren't supposed to see this. Outside town, two men, identical, stand sentry over a third body half covered with a canvas sheet. "Might as well grab a shovel being that you're here," the man in front says. When you hesitate, he makes an appeal to your Christian charity.
Agree to lend a hand?
You and John dig a hasty grave while his brother stands back, keeping a lookout. Closer now, you see the corpse shares their face. "Tom was the oldest by an hour," John says. "Oh, I guess George and me, we got a few hours on him now."
Oh. Should I chuckle?
"Mean son of a bitch. Beat the life out of us. Did it our folks that way. Got to be too much, so last night we said we'd do him in. George dragged him out here to do it. I would have helped, you know, but George is a strong one out of me and him. Thank Jesus Tom's gone. I thought I'd have trouble saying that, but I don't."
Say a short prayer?
John squints at the body, then freezes. "Wait, Tom's nose wasn't bent like that. Despair floods his face. He looks ready to throw up. You leave him to it.
What the fuck? Alright. Why is Chattanooga this weird? Ah, there's two T's and there's two O's and there's twins in the name itself. There's two, there's three, there's two O's, but there's two T's, but there's three A's. Just a full ass name of repeating characters. I don't know, I'm just making up my own canon for why there's so many twins and triplets around here. Seems like those were completely different twins than the previous ones that were shitted at me before in the same town, the same icon and everything. As far as I can tell, though, the plot twist there was that the wrong triplet died. The horrible one that they were planning on killing was actually the one who survived. Ruh-roh. That means the other one's fucked too.
I wanted to be the best blues singer in the world. By God, I was. I was born a poor girl in Memphis, Tennessee. No father, he run out. No mama either. She was there, but she weren't there really. All alone but for my Uncle Richard, my baby brother Marcus. All alone but for the guitar. Ooh, how about a story about the dark and scary things in the world?
I am about to blow your goddamn mind. Ba-boom. The Jersey Devil.
Ooh, now, that sends shivers up my spine. I got stories about sadness. Something in my mama just broke when my father left. Couldn't get her to eat most days, let alone feed me and my brother. Ooh, how about a story about the dark and scary things in the world?
Fixated, huh? As often goes, though, I already got you beat. Although I guess this is dark and scary too, huh? Gotta be careful. Weird triumphant deer story. Let's see if I can level this one up again.
That's a mighty sad right now. Oh yeah, I felt freedom. There's nothing like the feeling when you sing and your soul leaves your body. Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it.
Well, this guy planted 10,000 trees.
Oh, now that pain.
That was sadness to him? Oh. I didn't know. I thought that story was a big triumphant thing now.
Heaven. A white man showed up in Memphis. Heard me singing for dimes outside the barber shop. I thought he was an angel when I met him. Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it.
I'm sure these stories, these categories are supposed to mean more. I'm not sure if I can fully make sense of them. There's so many of them. The pig farmers, Tallahassee. Grandma wants her pig's feet.
Just don't get that one, I'm afraid. Don't have much truck with faith. Only time I ever went to church, it was to hear that gospel choir sing. I'm in the mood for a good, hopeful story. You got any?
I don't get that one. I wonder if that means that the pig's feet one's supposed to be a funny story. I can kind of get the hint of it. There's a fire at the poker game.
Is that one supposed to be exciting? Yeah, I heard stories about fate. The man, he told me with my voice and my songs, I was gonna be a star. Sun is up. One more night gone. I need to be going. If you want to hear more about the deal I made, you can look for me up the road this way. I was about 25 when I left my first record contract. No more richer than I was before. Those men took me around like a freak show. Me and my guitar, my sad songs. I didn't know what to do once I was free again. Alone, drinking my sorrows. That's where the devil found me.
Down in Georgia? She went pretty easily. A lot of the first rounds tend to, don't they? Then things get bad for me pretty quickly. She's just right up the way. Might as well take a look right after Nashville. The fire's supposed to be thrilling? A lot of the stuff doesn't quite read the way I thought it would. I thought the story would be tragedy or scary. Nashville. This is a tired city. But things are changing, locals say. For instance, the local full-size replica of the Parthenon was recently built. Huh. He moseyed down the way for a look.
From the windows of the store, you can hear a radio, turned all the way up, tuned to the Grand Ole Opry show being played across town. Two young girls sit outside listening to the music. Suddenly, it cuts off, and they howl in protest.
Talk to the girls?
Despite their obvious vexation, neither of the girls seems inclined to enter the store to see why the broadcast ceased. They seem to be preparing to leave on their bikes. When you approach, one says,
Don't bother. Always stops exactly this time, every week.
Always.
The other one matter-of-factly says,
That's when he died.
and before you can ask anything else, they've ridden away.
Peek in the store.
The window is so grimy you can barely see through the glass. But it's obvious there's nothing to see anyway. It's dark and empty. There's certainly no radio, nor any people. Just a lot of sad dust, marked where the furniture used to stand. Old memories, carted away.
Well, that's creepy, isn't it? That's when he died. So even though the place is seemingly empty, or at least doesn't have a radio, it somehow magically plays radio every day up until the time of day where he died. It's a weird little ghost story. I can't go over this mountain, gotta go around. A preacher watches you with an odd look. Suspicion? Pity? He beckons you into the church and starts counting the cash out of the donation box. Hush, he says, trying to silence your thanks. He piles the coins into your hand. You look like you need it more than we do. I don't, though. I'm not really needing money these days. Maybe because of all the camping I'm doing.
Giving up is its own peculiar kind of joy. Ain't nothing like it. No man so good, no smoke so deep. When the devil found me, I was on the edge of that cliff. He had seen deep inside me. He knew. And we made a deal. Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it.
Sad songs and waltzes aren't selling this year. Shitty father abandoned his kid.
That's like a song. Pretty and sad. Freedom. There's not many things colored folk can use to get free. You work twice as hard and you get half as much. I thought money was a ticket out, but money come and go like everything else. Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it.
Tragedy. What else do I have with tragedy? A woman executed in Paris, is that tragic? Farmers giving me... Those farmers are just creepy. The ghost who punished spiritualists for their hubris. Is that tragic, though? I'm not sure.
No, that's just too frightening for me. Some people think fortune ain't got nothing to do with the good they've had in life. I'd like to think the things I earned, I really earned. I still think that, despite everything. The more I live, though, the more I come to understand it's who you know that matters. Tell me a story to make me laugh. I could use a chuckle.
A chuckle. I think it was you that indicated to me that the pig's feet were a funny story, which means that they're spent. Yeah. Can't go back to that one. I think, wasn't the bottle one supposed to be funny, or at least I focused on the laughter to get this story, but I kind of lost the memory of it a bit.
Ain't that a chuckle? I thought it was joy I was feeling back then. When the devil took something out of me, I felt something like happiness. I'd been given so many promises by then. I knew this was the only way to make it all happen. Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it.
She loves her tragedy. Ah, the man, despairing about the future. Lost his job.
Oh, now that pain. The future's what the devil gave me. When he took my soul, he told me I would be the best blues singer there ever was. Ain't no man or woman greater. There still ain't. Ooh, now I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it.
It's the devil in her that loves that tragedy so much. Oh, the poor janitor.
I drink to that. Past me. She was a beautiful one. I made myself look like a lady. I bought dresses and jewels. I had my hair done every day, my short nails buffed so they shine. I was beautiful once. You can't tell, but I was beautiful once. Ah, the sun is up. One more night gone. And I gotta go. I'm headed down the road this way. There's more I'd like to tell you, though, about the deal I made with the devil. It ain't a story I tell everyone, but I think you should hear it. Someone should hear it. Someone should know the things I've done.
Sounds like I unlocked chapter 3. I'm a tad concerned about how the game handles its stories, the inventory system. You would hope that it would automatically filter to show 3 stories that you haven't told that person yet, at least at the beginning of the conversation. But I think it'll still show the ones that you have already told them, even if you have other ones to tell, which is kind of an awkward way of handling it, just because it kind of traps you. And like, you'd have to memorize which stories you've told which person across the board for the entire roster of all the characters, and that's kind of like, I don't know, good luck at that, I suppose. But sure, I'll give her a shot. I've met a lot of side characters, so I got a lot of wild cards and nothing else. I think phase 3 might be when you have access to the devil form, or the true inside form. Things have been going pretty smoothly so far, so I wonder if I can make it work. But I was wrong before when I thought that was the case. I don't know. Still getting a feel for the strategy of this game to some extent. Gives a chance to level something though. It's break time at this half-finished bridge. The workers are gathered around a young man who sits with a bucket like a king. They listen rapidly to a story about the sugarcane farmer who took criminals from the jails and worked them in his fields until they died. Damn. He realizes the story of the sugarcane cutters blind to the threat of death, but heavily embellished. The young man on the bucket tells it masterfully, doing all the voices as if it's told it this way 1,000 times before. What a story. Yep. That might have been yeah, we've heard that one before. That might have been the first one I ever heard, as far as like the story being retold. So it's been a while. I didn't immediately recognize it. But yeah, now it went from being a weird, dangerous quest to now being somebody who rounds up prisoners and forces them into it. So am I going to see her true face now? Oh, chapter 2, we never... Oh, it's Shaw. Whoops.
Here you are again. Good to see you on your feet still.
Oh, I goofed this up.
How have you been? Does traveling make you feel free? This journey has made me see how free I'm not, even though prison's behind me. Now I live in a prison without bars, and I can see it all around me. You got any good happy stories where things work out for someone, maybe?
Oh yeah, I haven't told you the 50-year one yet. That one's probably pretty good now. I somehow misread the map. I thought she went up here. Maybe I went the wrong way entirely. No, I already told him about the 50 years thing. Ah, shit. Ah, what good news do I got? I mean, that's a story that worked out, isn't it? He traveled all those miles for his trip. This guy makes molasses. Is that it's kind of a happy story. I don't know.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Wish I could have your stories around when I'm in a dark place, you know? Joy? Nothing more satisfying than a routine. Wake up, eat, work, eat, sleep. Regular, easy. But anyway, you know any good true tragedies? I feel like one of those tonight.
Something tragic, something sad. Someone was executed. That's kind of tragic, isn't it? Unless it's a ghost story, I can't tell. I'm trying to save the wild cards for the boss fight a little bit because it's hard to have them at that point. So I don't know, I'm trying to make it work that way, I think. I almost need to keep physical notes of what I think, as far as I can tell, what each of the stories count as, which will become a real big mess if I start switching them out. And there's already so many categories too. That's kind of a lot, huh? There's a tragedy. This is the sad man that lost his job again.
Body and soul. The future. But what does a body do after they leave prison? Especially when it feels more real on the inside than the outside. But tell me, what's the wildest thing you've seen out there so far?
The wildest thing I've seen out there? Storm birds. Yeah. That's pretty up there.
Now that's a story to keep a man on the edge of his seat.
I don't have a home.
Realizing that you have nothing and belong nowhere feels both like death and freedom at the same time. So, tell me a sad story. Sad and true, okay?
I've got you finished off, though, so at this point I'll tell you one of my weird wild card ones I'm still trying to work on. Yeah, this is a weird one. This is kind of a scary one, I think. The lemonade. Farmers who give me lemonade.
Come on, you can't shock me. My heaven. Strange story there. No, it don't feel good to live under the boot of the law, but you get used to it. And sometimes you find yourself missing it. So, tell me a sad story. Sad and true, okay?
I will specifically not do that. Funny story about the pigs, I guess.
I guess we all got a different sense of humor. My face. Well, there come a time you ask the Lord for so much, you just stop asking altogether. Here's the sun. I got to go. My road takes me up this way, but if we meet again, I'll be glad to talk. What does a man owe in this life, do you think? I never think I ask or want for much. Just food, shelter, fair pay for honest work. Is it selfish? I truly have to wonder. Is it selfish to feel like you're owed anything at all? Even that. Tell me, brother, what was it that you wanted? What did life bring you instead?
Story grew with the telling. Yeah, the wild cards themselves get stronger over time. And there's chapter 3. I must have misread the map when I came here, because I thought I was going to the same lady I just talked to. Got all around turn. Yeah, she's further. I somehow went the wrong way, I guess. Well, I'm gonna probably deal with them both now. But just want to make sure that I have all of my wild cards equipped. Guy seemed alright with death. As far as I can tell, they're grouped by the category. Oh, the strange bus. That was a neat one. The dog's so clearly tragic, though. Yeah, I think they're grouped entirely by category of how the person will react to it. Not based on the genre of the story, but it seems like the dialogue you get. That's when I was told to leave. Kind of want to see the bull one evolve, though. The haunted music store. Kind of like that one more than the wounded soldier one. And the Jersey Devil. That one's full up. That's a finished one. And down the lighthouse one. Let's head back north. Turn back around. There we go. Got all mixed up somehow. Is there stuff around here? Any icons in line of sight? Gotta keep an eye out. But yeah, I think it's every time they respond with their next chunk of story, I don't think it's a linear sequence. I think the kind of card you play leads to what kind of story, what kind of portion of their story they tell, and they're all based on reactions to what category of card you played. Not card, story. It's easy to think of them as cards. I think that's the basis of it, because they introduce each one like they're explaining what kind of story they're about to tell you. Like it's, again, I think that's the part that I think that's why the stories are grouped into those different categories. It weirdly enough, I don't think has anything to do with what the stories, what genre they are, or anything like that, which makes it a little confusing to navigate. Whoa.
When they let me out, I needed work. Weren't too particular to staying in Alabama after I seen the way those men's eyes went looking at me. My son was headed up to Chicago, and I wrote him a letter.
He's a Fisher crane in overalls with tarot cards in his wings. That gives you something to unpack, huh? This is that's a real strange one. Huh. Kudos, by the way. The cards are all floating in front of him, so the cards themselves have their own separate layer of the shadow being cast. So the shadows are actually cast over his physical body, even though I kind of thought that the entire image would be a flat image that has its own shadow universally, but the cards actually cast shadows on him. All right, that's not an image I was expecting.
He made it sound like a paradise. Money falling out of your ears up north. Money spilling out of your pockets. White men who actually met your gaze and said hello, he told me. And at that, I laughed. As I made my way to Chicago, I felt a bit like Moses, if I'm honest. I felt as if the country was splitting to make a path for me. Path to a new life. But anyway, you know any good true tragedies? I feel like one of those tonight.
I'll still try to play tragedies if I can. If I can think of one. But otherwise I'll just play people's personalities, their stories. Death over enslavement. Does that count as a tragedy? It's hard to say. I've never told him about the Jersey Devil. Interesting. Oh, the murdering twins that actually murdered the wrong brother. Still, some of these are so muddy with meaning. Because you can interpret the genre so many different ways, is my issue. I feel like I might really... Oh, this one's a sad one, though. Yeah. The janitor at the school.
Body and soul. My past. You think I wasted my life? I'm not sure anymore. As a young man, I thought I fought for something righteous. Now, Lord, who knows? You got any good happy stories? Where things work out for someone, maybe?
My happiest stories are kind of low level. In fact, that last story was kind of a mistake to play because it was low level. I'm gonna play Dupree. She's in chapter 3 already. She's one of my best ones. We'll focus on the hopeful parts, if they exist.
That was a good one. Wish I could have your stories around when I'm in a dark place, you know?
I don't believe in no luck, no fate, not anymore. That's a lie people tell you to keep you from getting angry.
You know any good scary stories? Or see something spooky on your way?
Oh god, oh the devil. This is maximum effectiveness. Blow his mind, come on. I want to knock this out in one round.
Damn, that's a good one. Sadness. Well, it only starts to hurt when you stop and think a while. Best to keep walking when you don't feel anything at all. But tell me, what's the wildest thing you've seen out there so far?
That's a good one too if I haven't told him about the birds yet. Come on, tell me I haven't told him about the birds yet. He knows about the birds already. Shit. No! Ah, oh, double clicked on X. Damn it.
My life is sad enough without that added on.
Oh, you screwed me. The controller controls are slightly iffy. I still think it's kind of preferable, but to play with the controller, maybe. Or at least I'm kind of... I kind of like pressing A to continue dialogue more than I like pressing other things, but sometimes it like double reads an input, so it just instantly uses a message, and that's just a bummer.
They say we all free now. I don't know about that. You got any exciting stories? Anything that'll get my heart going?
Something exciting. I think I'm just gonna go for one of the highest level people I can find. There's Athena's Blues.
Now that's a story to keep a man on the edge of the seat. Bondage. We still living in it. They ain't never gonna let you have nothing, not really have anything at all. We don't get to whip anymore, no. But a boot on our backs as they climb all over us, as they've always done. Sun's almost here, so I gotta get going soon. You do too, right? I hope we get a chance to meet again. If you head up the road this way, well, I won't be settling down anywhere. If you're watching the road, you'll find me eventually. I can't stop now. Don't have anything left to stop for.
I goofed it up bad. That one turn of mistake probably made the difference too. Still, we're close. We're close to getting some of our first victories, I think. I think I'm starting to develop kind of a strategy for some of this, at least.